Hello. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the why behind career counseling. So whether you're a career counseling student or like you're interested in becoming a career counselor or a mental health counselor or a school counselor, ultimately I want to kind of wrestle with this question of like, why should you care? Why should you care about career development? Why should you care about taking a course on careers? Uh, and hopefully I'll provide a few entry points into answering that question, but throughout these videos, I'll describe more of the specific details. So as well in this video, I also wanted to go over the Occupational Outlook Handbook in the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's part of their website, as well as ONET Online. So those are career information resources where you can learn about different careers and kind of know relevant and accurate information. So the first question, why study about careers? I think the easiest answer to start with is half of many or most, adults who work throughout their lifespan, so 40 plus years of work, about half of those waking hours are at work. So obviously that's a significant portion of living. And so many clients, like I've worked as a career counselor, I've also worked as a clinical mental health counselor, and so many of the client issues at least involve their career. So career is a dimension of their holistic, presenting concerns. So for example, one of my very first practicum clients when I was a clinical mental health setting as a master's student, they came in because they hated their job. So he talked about just kind of being frustrated with the customers that he was working with some of the colleagues, and it was just really difficult for him and really pretty depressing. So it was all about career. I didn't think of it as career counseling. I thought, okay, we're at a clinical mental health setting, but career was central to all of what was going on. And in the SHARF text, that's text they'll be often referencing throughout these videos, the 2013 text. So on page 2, actually, it says that career counseling can include discussion of many different personal, familial, and cultural issues. So it's not just like, okay, what job do I need? So what information do I need to read to know what to do? But it's a holistic approach. Many people talk about career as more of like a life career or a life work. So it's not just the paid employment. It's like, what am I choosing to do with my time and my life? And paid employment fits into that, but what are the other roles that need to be important to consider there? So one person's defined, Zunker has defined career as roles individuals play over their lifetime. So I hope it starts to expand that what we do with our time, with our living, breathing, 80-ish years, or sometimes far less than that, sometimes a little more, what do we do? And career can be an important lens to make meaning of that. I also just wanted to add that career counseling is very personal. It's not just like information and just intellectual and just content focused. Some of my one of my very first clients as a career counselor, like I had to assess for homicide. With certain clients, I was assessing for suicide weekly or bi-weekly with them in my work with them, because they're working on who am I, what matters in the world. Like I don't really care about anything, but like they're trying to find this sense of life and career direction and this inner sense of meaning, and they're trying to live it out through their career. So it was relevant. Uh, Also, family conflict is often very much an important part of the career counseling process. Or like for example, one client just came in tears because she was given a script of what her life needed to look like and she didn't want to follow it. So her family tradition was prescribing what she should do with her life, and she was feeling trapped and stuck in that. So she's trying to make sense of like, what do I do when there's significant pressures to align with a certain career path that I don't want to do at all. So it was more just kind of making sense of the system that she was a part of. That was our career counseling. She knew what she wanted to do. Uh, so as you can see, career counseling can be a larger process of just figuring out, who am I? What matters to me? What do I want to do with myself? Uh, Career assessments can be an important part of career counseling, but they're usually just a small piece of it. And then you go back to this bigger, meaning-making process of helping the client make sense of their inner process. So with that intro, those are a few of the ideas that I had just to help you start to see why care about career, why care about like a career development lens in counseling work. But I hope that you see that it's relevant in the core counseling skills of reflecting feelings, reflecting, content and process, asking, good questions with intention, addressing the nonverbals, immediacy, advanced empathy, those skills all matter when addressing career work because it's very personal work. Uh, I think there are some skills that need to be learned beyond those core skills. Like if you're going to use assessments, like the strong interest inventory or the Myers-Briggs type indicators, like Strengths Finder. There's a lot of different ones out there, but you need to be aware of those. But it's usually like you present the interpretation of the assessment and then you use those core skills to help the client make sense of it. So yeah, ultimately, I guess just a couple last thoughts before I go to some of the skills. So a lot of times people see the goal of career counseling is like, okay, what occupation will I choose? Or if I've chosen one and I'm dissatisfied, how do I adjust? But I see it a little bit different. On page 15 of the Scharf text, he kind of references it that way, that it's about choice or adjustment to that choice. I see it more as like, how am I going to occupy myself throughout my lifespan? How am I going to use my time? How am I going to occupy my time with meaningful experiences? How am I going to bring together multiple roles to a totality of what I am and who I am and how I spend my life? So I think that's a much broader and holistic, but also relevant to paid employment and non-paid employment roles. They're all relevant. So yeah, so throughout this course, like I said, we're going to be going into different career development theories and applying them to counseling scenarios, whether that's a career counseling scenario or other subspecialties like school counseling or clinical mental health. So that's part of the goal of these videos is to go through those approaches and to see the application. So at this point, I'm going to share my screen and just share a couple of resources, like I said. So not that throughout these videos, I'm going to reference back to either the Occupational Outlook Handbook from the Bureau of Labor Statistics or to ONET Online. So I just wanted to present a few details about them. All right. So here's the Occupational Outlook Handbook. So I encourage you to go look through these websites to learn more about them. So this one has a pretty good landing page at bls.gov /OOH. And you can just go look via, occupational groups. So let's just try farming, fishing, and forestry. That's relevant to me right now up in Alaska when fishing is getting pretty busy. So you click that occupational group, and then it comes up with just the job summary, entry-level occupation, the median income, and then you can click them to learn more. So if we go into forest and conservation workers, it then goes into more detail about each one. So here's the summary page. What do they do? Work environment, how to become one, the pay, the job outlook, etc. And it's important to look at the job outlook that it's anticipated to decline in the next 8 years by 9%. Those can shift though. I've seen those shift dramatically. Sometimes there's this big anticipated increase, but then 2 years later, it's like, okay, never mind. That occupation fizzled out. There's so many careers out there that are emerging. We don't even have names of certain careers yet. In the next 5 years, we're going to just have new careers that didn't exist today. So yeah, those are some helpful just resources to look at. You can also just go and type in the specific name of the occupation that you already know about, or look into these other categories. And then ONET Online, another US government-based resource. It provides a lot of similar information. You can look by, the keyword. You can look by different, like the career cluster, if it's a hot tech industry, STEM, etc. I kind of like to look in this area where it's just like, okay, if someone knows they're interested in certain things, and later, we're going to be talking about the strong interest inventory and Holland's theory of interests, and that'll become really relevant there. Well, let's just try work values. If we click work values, okay, so if you're like, okay, I value relationships, you click that, and right here it says that or let's just try a dishwasher. You might not think of them as valuing relationships, but there's relationships, and then S and I are the other values. So if we go back, okay, independence. So S as well, support. So there's the relationship component of being, a dishwasher, that you're part of a team. You're working, you need to navigate those relationships. You're supporting the broader, task. You're supporting customers, and then you're working independently. So that's why the RSI is there. But if we go there, similar information to the Occupational Outlook Handbook. So kind of the basic tasks, tech skills that they need, the work activities, etc. And then one cool thing about this resource is you can go into like, okay, so if an occupation requires training, then you can go and click like your specific state and, or even just plug in the zip code and find where, the training or the credentialing can occur, and etc. You can go on more and more and learn more details. So I'll stop at that point. That's the core of what I wanted to share. So why does it matter, as well as like, okay, how can I start to get some accurate information? And we'll talk later in these videos about like that, it's not just like we're trying to cram information down clients' throats. We need to be aware of, where to find information so that we can help clients find that. But usually that doesn't really need to take significant time in the career counseling session. Like that's just helping them access resources. Then they often do that on their own. They look it up. And then so the counseling process is more that intermediate making process. So anyways, those were a few thoughts, and looking forward to sharing more videos with you and learning more with you.